Hola, ¿qué tal amigos? Buenos días, buenas tardes y buenas noches. No importa la hora que sea, siempre es un gran momento para aprender español con Profesor Pablo. Okay, our lesson is demasiado and demasiado, demasiada, demasiados, and demasiadas. There are three parts to demasiado and demasiado, demasiada, demasiados, and demasiadas. We're going to look at demasiado coming after a verb. It functions as an adverb and it always ends in O. We have some examples of statements and we're going to say that they happen too much. Demasiado means too much when it comes after a verb and it always ends in O. It's called an adverb. Okay, it kind of describes a verb, right? It's telling you how much this stuff is happening. Now, demasiado, when it comes in front of a noun, it works as an adjective. And so it's demasiado, demasiada for too much, demasiados or demasiadas for too many. And so we have two clusters of nouns, and we'll take demasiado appropriately in front of each, practice those. And then I'm going to tell you that poco and mucho are done exactly like demasiado. So you could put poco here and mucho. For example, habla demasiado. He talks too much. Habla poco means he talks very little. And habla mucho, he talks a lot. So what we're learning for demasiado, used as an adverb and used as an adjective, the same thing holds for poco and mucho. And then our next lesson is going to be kind of our final installment. We're going to show you how demasiado, poco, and mucho can be used in front of an adjective. That's going to be fun. Okay, let's go. Habla means he or she talks. Se queja, he or she complains. Ladra, he or she barks, your dog. Grita, he or she shouts. Paga, he or she pays. Come, he or she eats. Toma, he or she drinks. Duerme, he or she sleeps. And finally, miente, he or she lies. These are all verb number 3, present tense. So if you want to say he talks too much, habla demasiado. He speaks very little, habla muy poco. He talks a lot, habla mucho. Notice these end in O. Only in O when they come after the verb. Se queja. She complains too much. Se queja demasiado. She complains a lot. Se queja mucho. She complains little, very little. Se queja poco. Ladra. The dog barks too much. El perro ladra demasiado. Okay? He barks a lot. Ladra mucho. He barks very little. Ladra poco or muy poco. Grita. He yells too much. Grita demasiado. He yells a lot. Grita mucho. He yells very little. Grita poco. Paga. He pays too much. Paga demasiado. He pays a lot. Paga mucho. He pays very little. Paga poco. Come. He eats too much. Come demasiado. He eats a lot. Come mucho. He eats very little. Come poco. Toma. He drinks too much. Toma demasiado. He drinks a lot. Toma mucho. She drinks a lot. Very little. Ella toma poco. Duerme. He sleeps too much. Duerme demasiado. He sleeps a lot. Duerme mucho. He sleeps very little. Duerme poco. And finally, miente means he or she lies. Actually, one lies, too many lies, but he lies too much. Miente demasiado. She lies a lot. Miente mucho. She lies very little. Miente poco. So there you go. We've got demasiado always ending in O when it comes after a verb. Now, let's take a look at our clusters. By the way, the clusters work. If these were all just no borders, no colors, just a bunch of lines and words, it's a mess, right? It's a mess. But we have our clusters and we have our different colors to kind of point things out and grab your attention. Okay, comida, food, tiempo, time, gente, people, and that's la gente. Personas, persons or people. Tráfico, traffic. Quejas are complaints. Problemas are problems. Remember words that end in MA or masculine. Lluvia is the rain, and nieve is snow. This cluster, moscas, flies. Carros, cars. Humo is smog or smoke. Huracanes, hurricanes. Los huracanes. Temblores are earthquakes, not the major 7.8, 9.1s, but temblores like a 3-point, a 4-point, maybe even a 5-point. Accidentes, accidents. Cebollas, I don't even like to say that word in English. Onions. Hormigas, ants. And guerras, that's an ugly word. Wars, okay? All right, let's go for it. If you want to say too much food, it would be demasiada comida. Too much time, demasiado tiempo. Too much people, demasiada gente. Too many people, demasiadas personas. Persons or people. Tráfico. Too much traffic, demasiado tráfico. Too many complaints, demasiadas quejas. Too many problems, demasiados problemas. Too much rain, demasiada lluvia. Too much snow, demasiada nieve. Okay? This cluster. Too many flies, demasiadas moscas. Too many cars, demasiados carros. Too much smoke, smog, demasiado humo. H is silent. Huracanes. Too many hurricanes there in southern Florida along the coast. Demasiados huracanes. Too many earthquakes. Demasiados temblores. Too many accidents. Demasiados accidentes. Too many onions. Demasiadas cebollas. Too many ants. Demasiadas hormigas. And too many wars. One war is too many. Demasiadas guerras. Okay, now with poco and mucho, a little bit of food would be poca comida, a little bit of time, poco tiempo, a little bit of people, poca gente, few people, pocas personas, a little bit of traffic, poco tráfico, few complaints, pocas quejas, few problems, pocos problemas, a little bit of rain, poca lluvia, a little bit of snow, poca nieve. All right, you get it. Let's go with mucho over here. A lot of flies would be muchas moscas. A lot of cars, muchos carros. A lot of smog, mucho humo. A lot of hurricanes, muchos huracanes. A lot of earthquakes, muchos temblores. A lot of accidents, muchos accidentes. A lot of onions, yuck. Muchas cebollas. When I was in the military, I had KP duty at night from like midnight to 6. And all I did was take a big plastic trash can, like a 35-gallon trash can, full of onions, unpeeled onions, and I had to peel them. And I did that all night long. My hands reeked of onions, I think, until I was done with basic training. A Pablo no le gustan las cebollas. See ya! No cebollas, nada de cebollas, no onions for Pablo. A lot of ants, muchas hormigas, and a lot of wars, unfortunately, muchas guerras. Okay, that is tonight's lesson. Let's review the important points. Poco, mucho, and demasiado will always end in O if they come after a verb. It's describing how much that verb happens. Okay, demasiado, when it goes in front of a noun, it must agree with the noun in number, meaning singular or plural, and in gender, meaning feminine or masculine. Ya estuvo, se acabó, that's it. Snip, snap, snout, this tale is all told out. Quick lesson, that's it. We're going to hit poco, mucho, and demasiado, I believe, in our next lesson, and you're going to see how they work with adjectives. It's pretty cool. All right, and that's an area a lot of people goof up. I've heard even native speakers goof it up, but it's an area that a lot of people make a mistake. But we're not going to do that because we got the big board, we got the clusters, and we are cluster busters. Hey, please subscribe if you haven't. Please like, and let's get these lessons out to more people. Our goal is to get to 5,000 subscribers before the holidays. We're close to October, and we're at 4,000, I think, 170. So I think we're going to reach that goal. Then we'll set another one. We want to keep moving forward. Okay, gracias. Los quiero mucho, ¿verdad? Tengan un super gran día el día de hoy, el día de mañana, sea por la mañana, sea por la tarde, sea por la noche. El español es fantástico. Adiós. Cambio fuera.